Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at modern women getting rejected by men. Now, these are girls who, they're not really getting rejected by the average guy. They're just sick and tired of Chad not giving them commitment, okay? They're out here, they're crying, oftentimes in their cars, and that's what we're going to be covering on today's episode. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the creator of today's episode, which is Manosphere. He goes through the trouble of putting together these videos, which is absolutely horrendously painful because you have to listen to these individuals multiple times. So don't forget to give him some support. And without further ado, let's just jump right into the video.
2 hours ago. Well, he's probably just really busy. Like, it's literally a Monday, so I was starting to panic, but then I thought he had to get home from work, have a shower, and he takes really long showers. You know what happened? I bet he crashed his car on the way home from work. I wonder if I can look that up on the DVLA. Maybe his grandma died and they're probably just doing like the funeral in the same day. Just do it all in one. Maybe he died. I mean, it's a possibility. Active 2 minutes ago. Maybe I should ask about his grandma.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Women Getting Ghosted. Now, I know it's all fun and games when men get ghosted, but when women get ghosted, it's over. They need to tell the entire world about this great injustice. Oh, and if you are one of the men that have been ghosted and didn't cry about it on the internet, then a sub would be really appreciated.
Did you know? It's scientifically proven that telling your friends and family about the person you like does impact their chances of ghosting you.
I'm sorry for ghosting, but ghosting is what I do. Cause if I'm feeling too attached, I might get hurt by you.
Okay, listen up. I got ghosted. Very sad story. Whatever. But I wrote a song about it and I kind of like it.
He didn't reply you, is it? Very sad, huh? But think about all the people you didn't reply. Sin here, sin there. Now it's your turn. You deserve to be sad.
This is the story of how I got ghosted harder than anyone I think has ever been ghosted in their entire life. So back in January, I was seeing this guy. One night, I got off work at around 3 in the morning and he lived a block from my work, so he told me to come over. When I got to his house, he was like way more f***ed than he sounded like he was on the phone.
I'm just going to pause it here for a second. It's always amazing to me, guys, how a lot of these women will get so confused. They'll be like, no way, you're kidding, right? He didn't want anything serious with me? Who would have seen that coming? I'm so shocked that he ghosted me. And the first thing that comes out of this woman's mouth when she's describing her relationship with this guy is, oh yeah, I was talking to him and he invited me over to his house one night. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's like, of course he's not interested in a relationship with you. Anyone looking at the situation can tell you that, but these women will choose to ignore that when it's a guy that they're attracted to.
Which, like, was fine. I didn't really care at all. But I just, like, wasn't expecting that because he seemed, like, really weirdly. And he kept, like, debating back and forth between, like, should we go out? Should we stay in? And I was like, okay, I'm down to go out, but it's 4:30 in the morning at this point, dude. Like, do you have somewhere we can go? Because, what the
This is a woman who showed up to a dude's house at 4:30 in the morning, and then, like, after all this is said and done, he got ghosted. Like, anyone with a brain looking at the situation could tell you that the dude doesn't look at you in any sort of serious capacity at all.
Finally, he was like, you know what? No, I think you're right. I think it's, like, late, and I think we should just go to sleep. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And sorry, I should have clarified. Like, yes, I was seeing him back in January, but this is now, like, March, April. So we go to sleep, all right? So I think. I wake up at 8 in the morning, which is, like, what, 3 hours later? And this dude's not beside me anymore. I'm like, okay, fart in my fucking sleep? Is he, like, on the couch or something? That's so fucking embarrassing. So I laid there for a couple minutes and thought to myself, like, who knows, maybe it's in the bathroom. Like, I don't want to, like, go searching around this man's apartment if he's just, like, taking the sneaky shit, you know? So after about 5 minutes, I was like, okay, this is kind of getting this dude. So I left his room and started scoping around his apartment. Went to his office, wasn't in there, wasn't on the couch, and also was not in his roommate's room. And yes, I did look in all of those places.
Have you guys noticed how much most women swear nowadays? No wonder you can't find men and they ghost you. There is nothing feminine about swearing every 30 seconds.
I was gonna say exactly the same thing. Guys, every time this woman swore in this video, except for I believe once, Manosphere went through the effort of going and cutting it out. Can you guys imagine how tedious that must be? And these are the same women wondering why they can't find a man. Why won't men commit to them? Why won't men marry them? How come I keep getting ghosted? And throughout the course of like a 2-minute TikTok video, she swore like 10 plus times. It's insane.
Quick tip if you've been ghosted that somebody did ask me for, because I'm definitely an expert on this one. Yeah.
Holy hell, you guys see these crazy eyes? My goodness, this reminds me of there's like a meme from a very long time ago, literally like the crazy woman face, and this is exactly the same kind of thing.
An expert on this one. Yeah. I think the ones that get the most hurt from being ghosted are the ones who just newly got out of a relationship or just getting back into the dating scene in general. You're a good person, Sam. And you're probably thinking, what in the Moby Dicks did I do to deserve such disrespect? Nothing at all, Brad. Nothing at all. Listen, I remember the first time I got ghosted and how I felt. And the second and the third. I really thought we had something. Here's the cold, honest truth. Until you and that other person communicate that this is exclusive and this is something real, anything's fair game.
Guess what, guys? Chad is never going to communicate that he wants to be serious with you because he doesn't care. Okay, this is what dating in this current society is like, guys. You'll have women who will chase men who aren't interested in them for months and months at a time. Okay, they'll just chase the one dude, no commitment, no nothing, and the girls will feel like, oh, maybe one day I'll get him, or, you know, I'll get the commitment eventually. No, probably not. Probably not. He's just going to either ghost you in the end, or you're going to find someone who has a little bit more potential and you're going to get ghosted by him as well. Guys, one of the biggest red flags in women is if they sit there and tell you how terrible their dating experience is. If they say, all of the ex-boyfriends that I've had, they all treated me terribly, or I can't seem to find a man, that's how you know that the girl is typically incredibly entitled, she's quite possibly incredibly crazy, etc. Let's continue.
If you've been ghosted, then this video is for you. Here are the rules for being ghosted. Number 1, leave them on your social media. Of course, you could block or unadd them, but that shows that you care and they have gotten to you. You need to act unaffected. Number 2, delete their contact.
What's all this talk about acting unaffected? You know, like I see these kind of things like, oh yeah, let's try and manipulate him back. Maybe you should actually just not care, because he didn't care about you. But it's always like, oh, how can I make the guy jealous? What can I do to get his attention back? And you know what the solution that a lot of these women come to? It's, I'm going to post a photo with another guy, or I'm going to post a photo of myself in very questionable clothing. And yeah, you might get the guy come back for a night, he might have a little bit of fun with you, but you've basically just confirmed to the man that he was completely right in ghosting you and that you weren't relationship material in the first place.
You cannot be tempted to text them. Number 3, if they are in your private story, you need to leave them there. Like I said before, taking them out of your private story shows how affected you really are.
If somebody ghosts you or ignores you, never ask them why and never send them text messages. Welcome back to my series on how to have value in your self-confidence and attract the right people in your life. I think this is part 7 or 8. The reason you're not going to ever ask them why or send them provocative text messages like, oops, did I forget my bag at your house? Or, oh my god, did we have plans to meet on Sunday? I know you haven't replied, but I just thought I'd ask. We're not going to do that. We're also not going to show up in places where they are, or send any kind of provocation towards them, or post on social media us having an amazing time with our...
Sorry guys, but I had to post these relationship gurus that give advice about ghosting. I honestly didn't know that you had to be an expert to understand the ins and outs of ghosting. My personal advice is, if you get ghosted, just move on.
Guys, I love how you've got all these dating advice gurus, right? These women who will get on TikTok and say, oh, here's like the 5 things that you need to do to attract the perfect person in your life. Women can already attract men, by the way, guys, right? A lot of the women, the reason why they're actually single is because their entitlement is through the roof and they refuse to quote unquote settle. They feel like they're settling if they get with the dude who's like a plumber or a guy who is beneath their standards in some sort of way, whether that be height, money, status, etc. Okay, so they spend their entire life chasing dudes who are quite frankly out of their league, trying to attract the right energy. How about you choose the right man? How about we talk about single motherdom? How about we talk about divorces? How about we talk about your choices? But of course, we'll never talk about that. Let's keep going.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Dating Sucks and I Hate It Here. This episode is being brought to you by the Center for I'm Really Trying Hard Not to Die Alone. Does someone want to explain to me what goes through a person's mind when they decide to ghost you? Like, is it actually a decision or does it just occur by happenstance?
They just can't be bothered talking to you, probably because you're a giant headache or they're bored and they found another girl. It's really very simple. And guys, in these videos, I groaned at the start of this video because every time we tune into one, it's like I'm either being yelled at, I'm being condescended to. I'm sure you guys get the same feeling when you watch these videos. It's like, why are we being screamed at? The video just started. Okay, I just woke up, man. I just, about to go to the gym, okay? And these women on TikTok, the first thing they do when they open up a video is they either scream at you or they just act incredibly condescending like you're a child. It's craziness.
Ooh, happenstance. What a fun word. Almost as fun as asshole. I'm sorry, let me rewind and give you some backstory. So there was this man that I found attractive and therefore I decided to go against everything inside of me and put myself out there. You know why? Because it's the thing that everyone keeps telling me I need to do because, as the kids would say, YOLO.
Guys, I'll say this, okay? And this is something that Manosphere brought up recently on one of his videos. Attractive women really don't need to be going and putting themselves out there. Like, they really don't. All of this posting on Instagram, these Snapchat stories, all this bullcrap. Women who are actually desirable don't do these things. They don't have to put themselves out there because men will just approach them. Girls who go around approaching everybody, putting themselves out there, if you make a woman like that your wife or your girlfriend, you will be absolutely screwed over. Mark my words, guys. You might be a dude, you might be watching this, maybe, you've encountered a situation like this. Give it 6 months and see what happens. Like, these girls who put themselves out there, okay, absolute red flag.
But anyway, I digress. So I start flirting and, sending all the vibes that are saying I'm interested. And then
Or I'm just straight up, what a frame this is. Oh my goodness.
I made the first move. Oh yeah. I asked for his phone number, which, who am I? I don't know. Now, I'm not usually the one to put myself out there because of my paralyzing fear of rejection, but I decided to overcome that fear and do it anyway. But to my surprise, a whole new fear formed, which is the fear of wondering whether or not he even wanted to give me his number, and maybe he just did it out of pressure and he didn't want to hurt my feelings. My mind is a thing of wonders. So we start talking here and there, and whenever we did talk, I thought we had really good conversation. But if there's anything dating in this age has taught me, it's that I don't have the first clue as to what healthy male-female interaction looks like. So for the sake of full transparency and accountability, communication was spotty off jump. But I was trying not to be pressed about it because you know why? Everyone keeps telling me, Paige, just go with the flow. Don't expect anything. Have fun. I am not having fun. Now after a while,
that's a terrible advice that women give each other, guys, by the way. They're like, oh yeah, just have fun, just go with the flow, right? Don't secure any commitment, just have fun with the guy, and then they're shocked and surprised when they come to find out that the man didn't want any commitment from the beginning. And by the way, notice how she says at the start of the video that if a guy ghosts you, that makes him an a-hole. It actually doesn't. Probably just means that he doesn't want to talk to you. I love how when women ghost men, it's strong and empowering and it's weeding out the bad apples. It's a positive thing to do. But when men ghost women, oh, we're terrible people, guys. Even though the social cues were all there, all there.
He eventually just full-blown ghosts me, and then it would be about 3 months before I hear from him again. And yes, you heard that correctly. I said again, you know why? Because ghosts always return, and apparently I love being a fool. So fast forward 3 months, and we're now in contact again. And for the record, it did not go unaddressed that he ghosted me, which then led to the debate of whether or not ghosting occurred. See, in my opinion, I was 100% certain ghosting had occurred. But to him, the fact that we were now in contact meant that I wasn't ghosted at all, and instead it was just a long pause. That hurt to say out loud. Okay, moving on. He then goes on to apologize and even says that he recognizes that his communication isn't great, but he's working on it.
Yeah, this guy does not give a crap about you. Like, he's just saying whatever he feels like saying whatever he thinks that, you know, you'll appreciate hearing. The apology was probably half-hearted at best. And guys, like, I don't feel sympathy for these women. The story up until this point tells you everything that you need to know. It's funny, guys, like, how these girls, they're talking about accountability, and they're sitting here trying to get a commitment out of men that they have absolutely no business trying for.
Aren't they all? And at that point, it was less about whether or not I believed him, because as far as I was concerned, it was like, hey, give it time and people will show you who they are. I just wish people would really stop showing me who they are, though.
Ma'am, maybe, just maybe, he ghosted you because he heard you talk.
Celia and I went through a phase in college where we would come to New York for the night to go out, because at the time we lived in Boston, and so one night I met this guy out at a club. Red flag. He wasn't a promoter himself, but he was like friends with all the promoters, so that is a red flag enough, number one. Anyway, I ended up going home with him because he convinced me we were in love, and of course I was like, oh my god, we are in love. And weird thing number one, he told me I could not speak like one word because his apartment was apparently like a flex wall that his mom also lived in, and she spent the evenings together. He told me like how magical our connection was, and then I left and went back to Boston, and we were like texting every day. But it got to a point where my text stopped delivering to his phone, and then he WhatsApped me and he was like, my phone's broken, but you can WhatsApp me. And then it got to the point where like my messages would just stop delivering even on WhatsApp at 5 p.m. usually, and then they'd start delivering again the next day. I just thought something was wrong with his phone. And then I was so excited because he invited me. He was like, come to New York for the weekend. I have the apartment to myself. And I was like, okay, I'll be there. I was like packing my stuff ready to go, and then just never heard from him again. So I got a text from him 2 weeks later telling me how disgusting I was, and that, by the way, he gave me an STD. Like a severe STD, by the way. And then he texted me again. I got a text like another hour later. That was actually his girlfriend, and that he had not actually broken up with his girlfriend. He cheated on me with his girlfriend. It was actually one of the most shocking moments of my life. And he actually did give me an STD, just not like a severe. He gave me chlamydia. I took a pill, it went away.
I love it when women admit to seeing the red flags, but they just decide to ignore them. Because of patriarchy and oppression, of course.
Oh yeah, absolutely, naturally. I love how, guys, this is what happens. So someone sent this question in. So this is like someone replying on a comment on her TikTok, and someone here says, I like this series, bestie. I just got ghosted and I'm very sad. Do you have any interesting ghosting stories? And this is what I'm telling you guys. Some women, they'll just sit there and tell on themselves. Like, look how happy she is while telling you this story. Like, she's sitting here, she's smiling, reminiscing about it. Okay, and girls will always act surprised. They'll be like, they'll see all of the red flags. This guy's like associated with all the club promoters. She met this random dude out at a night on the town in the clubs, okay? All the red flags are there. And then she's like shocked when things go terribly. You know, like she's just absolutely stunned. I can't believe he cheated on me. One of my favorite ones that I keep on hearing, guys, is like, oh, I didn't know that he had a wife. When odds are, a lot of the times, the women actually know these things, and that's actually the reason why they're there. Because they know that the guy is valuable because other women like him, so she tries to poach him and tries to get attention from him. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's absolute just mess of an episode right there. Don't forget to subscribe to Manosphere for putting together today's episode for us to endure. And as always, guys, make sure that you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.